Oh, it seems we are just two. Let's start.
All right.
Okay, so as you know, Professor has surgery recently and he wasn't able to make it today. So he asked me to just go through this lesson one and just explain it briefly. For this lesson one, uh, you guys will learn how to create an application by using Java Swing. So I decided to just, instead of just go through this code, I just create one Java Swing program from the scratch with some example. So it will be so helpful. Okay, so do you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Cool. So let me just start it. So we just going to create some basic Java project. So we just choose a Java simple project and just click next. And we don't need any template and just click next. So we just put there some random name like my game, whatever name you like. So just finish. So what it does is, let me bring this one here. Okay, so it just created some Java project for us, and if you just expand it, you will see there is a source folder here. What we are going to do is we just right click on it, we go to the new, and we're going to create a package. So I think you know that for creating package, there is some standard for creating the name. Just come that your company or organization name, whatever, and then you can put your project name. For now, we just use these two and just create a package. So now we have a package in your search folder. So we are going to create a Swing application, right? So just right click here. We need to create our class. But instead of that, I'm going to create a GUI form here, right? So when you click on it, it asks for the name. So for example, you want to create a rock, scissor, paper game, right? Rock, scissor, paper game, right? Like that. What the name is on you. It's not important. Click OK. So what it does is going to create a one file, which is contained to the two sub file. One of them is this form here that you can see. We're going through that, but and it's going to create another Java class for you, which is related to this form. So you here design your interface, and here you implement your code to explain, to define, declare your functionality. So what I'm going to do here, just let me explain you here. So we have a palette here, which contains all the components that we need to create our interface. So what I'm going to do is, here, there's a hierarchy of all the components here. You can see it here. So first of all, this is our panel, but we're going to put all the stuff we need to this panel. So I just come here to the property and put this field name as a main panel. I call it main panel, which because it's content, my caps lock is on main panel. That's it. So, and I'm going to what I'm going to do is just simply I just show you how to add the button and how we can add the text field and how we can make a connection between them. When you click on the button, it's going to execute some functionality. So There's a, it's on your programmer how to design that, but we can put just button here and text field here and go forward. But in my opinion, if you choose this G panel, right? For example, I want this G panel to be at this bottom here. I need another G panel to be at the left. I need another G panel to be at the right. I think is enough. Well, so and in this G panel, we are using our components, right? For example, I need a button here. G button, I choose it, I put it in the bottom field. So what I'm going to do now, for example, I add this button, right? So I'm going to, what is the field name? For example, left button. Put the name on it, and you can change this label as well on the button here. Let me show you. So if I show expert property, I click on that, I have more option here, and let me see, there is that. Here, text. I just change it to the left, right? So, but if, as you can see, it's fill out all here. So I just want the left one to stand on the left side. So what I'm going to do is, you can do anything here. You can change the color, size, everything. I just go through the important stuff. So as you can see here, say horizontal align is fill. It means it's going to fill up all the place here. So I'm going to change it here. I'm saying I want this button to be at the left side, right? So, and I'm going to add another button here again. So it's put it automatically at the right, but again it's fill, so you can change it to the right. So we have a two button here, and we define where this button should be stand. And then, so we can do the same for the panel, right? The panel, the horizontal align set as a fill. I change it to the center. So bring to bottom at the center, right? So you can do whatever you want here, and it's just on you. Change the name, change the color, names, and you have too many properties. You can go through each of them, test them. Then, so what I'm going to do, just add some text here and some picture here, okay? So I'm going to add, do you have any questions so far, or everything is good, clear?
Good now.
You good?
Yeah, I've already gotten this far already.
Yeah, it's very straightforward. Just, just drag them, put them here, change the property. So it's like designing something. So, and I'm going to add in this J panel, I'm going to, so let's change the name of the J panel and make it clear when we are coding. So this one is the bottom one. I'm going to put the name for it here. Just click on it, and property, on the property field, just say bottom panel. Left one, we're going to say left panel. Now for the right one, we'll say right panel. That's it. Okay, and I'm going to add some JLabel, yeah, JLabel here, and JText area here. Okay, that's it. So let's just put the name on this text area. Text area 1 is good. Name is good, and label is here. The field name is right label. And I don't want to be some text in that, so I'm going here in the text and just remove it. So as you can see, now is empty.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Enjoy.
Oh.
Okay, so now we have some text area here, and we have one label here, and we have a 2 button here, right?
Yep.
So, and we learn how to create a button, how to change the property to put it wherever we want. So now what we're going to do is we want to say, if I click on this left button, I want to some text shows up here. So what I'm going to do is right click on the button, and I'm going to say I want to create a listener on this button, right? So I just click on it. So there are several options that I'm not sure, I didn't use them. I just use this action listener so far. So I just click on it, and you can leave everything as default. Okay. So as you can see here, it creates a method for us here, which we're going to use it to define our functionality. So as you see on the form, whatever component we created here, it's automatically it just created here for us, and we can access to them whenever we want. So, hey, Professor Play, welcome.
Thank you. You didn't have much of a show, did you? I mean, only one person. Hello, Marcus. Hello. I've had a shower and a short nap, and dinner is served, and things are looking up. Good to hear.
Okay. So, Professor, let me keep continuing that.
Yeah, are you recording?
Yeah, I just recording.
Good.
Yeah. So, so it creates automatically for us some method that we can use it to define our functionality. So I want to, when we click on that left button, some text goes to that. What was that? Left, right label, text area 1, right here. So I'm saying here, text area 1 that set text here. I'm going to say button left is working, right? So it's supposed to, when we click on this button, show this text in the text area 1. So, and then I'm going to again to the form for this button. Let's change the text as well here in the property. We can say right. And I'm going to right click on it and again create a listener for this button as well. There you go. Yeah, default. Okay, so we have another listener for the right button here. And I want to add the picture on that side, right? So for that purpose, we need to define our picture here. So what I'm going to do here is say I use the image icon API is the Java Swing class and my image. So new is created and we pass the or location of our file here. So I have a picture here. Let me show you here. I just drag it and put it in the root. It's important to just put it in the root. If you put it in the source or somewhere else, so if you put it in the source and somewhere else, you cannot access to it. You need to define where it is. But you can, if you just put it in the root, in the my game here, in the project root, you just easily can access to it. Canis.jpg. So right now, when this application run, we're going to create an object which hold our picture. And I'm saying that I want to assign that to that label on the right side, right? So what was the name that the label was right label, right? Right label that we use the set icon method, which is some method in that label, and we pass this image to it, right? So right now we define our two bottom. So whenever someone click on it, it's going to do this functionality. But as you know, we need a main method to execute this application. So I'm going to create a main method here. I just write main and app, and it's going to create main method for us. And we need to define some stuff here, like JFrame is a swing class. Let's put some name for it. New, just create it in the memory, in the runtime. And again, like and we need to pass our application name. What was that? My game. Right. And we should say our frame. We should set the content pan. Content pan, and we need to pass our class here. Name. What is the name of class? RSP game, right? RSP game. RSP game. That. Yep. So now we should say we want to have our main plan. So we set the content pan as a main plan. In the beginning, I told you there is a main plan which hold all the object, all the component of our Swing application. So we pass it here in the set content pan in our JFrame. Let me change this name the correct way. Frame. What else we need is frame dot. We need to set default close operation. Yep, it's we use when we want to close our Swing application. Exit on close, and we need to use frame.pack. Frame.pack. It used for the explicitly set the size. So I'm going to set the size here as well. I define it as usual, 350 and 300. This is width and height, and you can set it on whatever you want. And just set the visibility as true. These are some steps we need to take for our Swing application. Okay, now we have our main class ready, and we have these two listener here on that two button. So I think we are good to execute this application. So I'm not sure this, let's see. It's going to build it, compile it, and run it. Yep, it's here, right? So if I click on the left, it should show the text. Yep, bottom left is working, and if I click on the right, it should show the picture here. Yep, and it shows the picture, the clouds of Thanos here. So now we learn how to define the button and listener, and how to create some simple Java Swing program. So, and now I'm going to get back to our code for the rock, scissors, paper game. And I'm going to just briefly go through each line, and then we're going to execute it in debug time. I think it's going to help us to get more understanding. So as you can see, we have the same structure of project here. We have this form and this class, which contains all the implementation of this form. And there is the RPS util, which is provided by Professor. You can, I think, access to it through the eCampus. So let me just go through the code, and I don't want to take your time too much. Okay. So as you can see, these are all the components that we use in our form. We just declare it here, and we have access to it. So, and here we just declare some constant variable, which are we going to use. So for example, for the rock, we use 0, which is the index of rock, and paper is 1 and 2. These are constant, it's not going to change, we use them. And here we define all the image that we have here. So as you can see, we just defined them as a string here, and we have the file here. All of them are here. And then we're going to create that random API. So we're going to use it as artificial intelligence for our computer. So we just create it here like that. And then we are going to define this picture to our program, like use image. I use it in my program, right? Image icon. But as we can see here, we use the array here. So we have 3 pictures, we don't have 1. So we're going to define it like this. So as you know, when you define the array, the first one index is 0, which we define it here 0, and it's going to create the second item or in our array with the index 1. We define the paper as index 1 right here. We pass the picture image, right? The image of paper here in the second one, which index is 1, and here paper number is 1 as well. And same for scissor, which index is 2, and here the number is 2. So when we call this class, this image icon will create it with these 3 items. And then we have our constructor here. So in my code, as you see, let me show you, it's going to help you. This is my code, right? It's the same. But as you can see, there is user anonymous inner class. But in Java 8 and upper, we have some good stuff that we don't need to do all this code to define our anonymous inner class, because readability is hard. So if you just click it here and change it to the Lambda version, as you can see, all of them in the one line. It's more readable and more less code, very clean. And we can do the same here, right? So in this code, we just use that Lambda version. So it's more readable, right? So we are going to, when we click on the rock button. Please call this method. Which method? This is a get result method. Call this method and pass this rock argument. This rock argument is 1, right? So just pass this one. If someone click on the paper, just pass the paper index to this get result. And same for the scissor. So, and we have another button which is going to create a new game. It doesn't do any something very professional. It just set the icon for the user label and computer label as a no, and just reset the text in the result field. That's it. It doesn't do anything very complicated.
The new game button is optional.
Yeah, new game. Yeah, it's optional. I just explain it for someone wants to know that. So then here we have a main method which we have talked about it a lot, and then we have a get result here. So as I told you, when we click on any button, we're going to call this method and pass this argument rock, paper, scissors to this method. So here in this line, we're going to just call this random that I talked about. So when we're going to call this random and pass the image length. So image length with this tree has a length is 2, right? So it's going to choose a number between the 0 to 2 for the computer. So when we call this method, we have our input, whatever we choose, paper, scissors, rock, 0, 1, 2, whatever. And we're going to create a 1 for computer randomly. And then we're going to set the image. So we just call our label, we set the icon, we call our image here. So what we're going to do is, we say, we call our variable, and we use this to bracket, and we pass our index. So it will return our picture with that index. So we do same for the user and computer. And at the end, we need to say who is winner and what was the result, right? So we're going to use this util that professor created. So this is a static method. We don't need to create the object here. We just directly call this method, and we're going to pass the player input and computer input here. So I prefer to run it in the debug time for this time to explain what's going on in this determine winner method. So I'm going to just put the break here, and I'm going to execute this application.
How's he doing, Marcus?
Doing good.
Good.
Okay, so it's executed, as you can see here, and we are going to just click on button, right? We should come to this method and go deeper. So I'm going to click on that rack. So our code are here now. So I click on the rack, right? So I'm going to say go deeper. So I choose 0, and randomly computer choose 0. We're going to set the picture. We go deeper. So it's going to set the picture. And finally, we come to that determine winner method. So we have a 2 input. We come to this method, and you can see here there is several condition, right? We have a 1 if, then we have 1 else if. For example, if this is not true, come to this condition, and so far. So here we have a computer and player input both 0. So we know we're not going to further, because in the first conditional is true, right? So the game is tied. The result will be it's a tie, and the output text will be you want to play again. So, and we just come out method. We just return that string that we have now. Our string is result and output text, which is see here. Result is it's a tie, and the output is play again with question mark. Okay, we just return back to our code. So what it's going to do, we just set the text as what we return, right? So I'm just so as you can see here, it's a die and it set the picture and everything. I'm going to click on the, for example, Caesar, and again come here to see what will happen. So player input is 2 now and computer input is 1. So this is 1 is not true. I'm going deeper. So I think this one is not true as well here. Player paper not, yep. So computer is 1, result V1, computer choose rag, who won? You win and Caesar cuts paper. Okay, computer choose the paper. So we just return this and same process whenever we click on the and that button, just come out, right? So that's all the process. Professor, do you think we need to explain more, or everything is clear? Marcus, do you have any question?
I don't. I asked Marcus. Yeah.
I don't have any questions at the moment.
So if you have a question, just I didn't create this application from scratch because it's make it very easy for who going to watch this video. So I just create the one simple string application, and I explain all the functionality that you need to create, like create a button and create a listener, how to assign a picture or text. So we know everything now. We just need to implement it for all rock, scissor, paper game. We have every tools that we need to create this application. So that's it.
But I think this is a kind of a fun little application to implement. It's GUI, and it you can actually play it. And I'll give you a little hint. We're going to do the same thing next week, except we're going to use another technology called JavaFX. But we're going to implement the same game.
Yeah, the JavaFX is
yep.
I like more than Swift.
I agree.
Yep.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Cool. So I just, Professor, I just click here. Here, just start recording. That's right, right?
Yeah.
Just here, and I just start recording. So if I stop it, it's going to save it in my computer?
Yeah. Yeah, it's talking about the video, yes.
Stop recording, right?
Yes.
Do you want me to click it now?
If Marcus has no more questions.
Yeah, I think we're good.
So Marcus, if you have a question, just send out email.
Okay.
Yep. So I just